for episode 6. Episode 6, go. Welcome to JigJaw with you in her shed, sitting, nozzling a barrel of bitumen. Welcome back. Well, here we go. Now, I feel that my system's going all right now. I've had lots of notes on that, let me tell you. The tablecloth is still causing some issues, obviously, but I decided to. There's not much I can do. This is amateur night out, isn't it? And you've all tuned in to watch such a debacle. So I'm just going to keep. I've just decided yesterday. I'm just going to keep going till people don't listen anymore. Till they go, that's absolutely enough. Thank you, madam. And this episode has arrived. Well, what's happening is these episodes are arriving a bit later now because rather rudely, my son, I think I mentioned it yesterday, that Fred, my son, is studying for law, and actually he seems to not have time to add the music, add the visuals from this little cheap 40 quid camera, and look at that, early doors, get in. Yeah, so basically I'm now calling him the Freditor, because he's editing, and I just thought, actually, because the poor bloke is trying to study, right, for his law, he's doing his LPC, his law practice course, and yeah, so basically these are arriving on YouTube whenever he can get time to add the music at the front. He's not editing me, my God, I'm just doing 30 minutes of whatever comes into my mind with a couple of bullet points I've written down, but that's it. We're not editing all me, because no. So anyway, so it's arriving when it arrives, basically. But I will try. I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to learn iMovie, and I'm really laughing because the people that I work with normally say, "Oh, this is cracking on early. Look, everyone." The people I work with are so astounding, and they do all these amazing visuals and create things and all of that. And all I'm trying to do is put some music on the front, do the really most basic titles, which I always spend the night thinking, oh, I wish I'd written something funnier, and then music at the end. But also, so it's pretty simple what I'm trying to achieve, but I don't seem to be able to achieve it on my own without the help of the Freditor. Never mind. We'll try and do it. So yes, so 30 minutes, whatever comes from my mouth, he has to. I don't think he listens to it. Laughing as well because Matt's still not seen any. What's accidental edge in casserole dish. Right, God, blimey, it's going to be this is going to be a longer haul than we thought. I'm mixing up my casserole dish with my edge bits. Oh, sorry, here we go. Right, I've had another email from Dwayne. I had a phone call with Dwayne and I had an email from Dwayne, so I will definitely read his stuff out later. Although I say about the tablecloth, people seem to have calmed down a bit about it. Matt mentioned it, but I told him to back out of it because if he thinks I'm taking 2,500 pieces off, like I mentioned before, and then ironing it and putting it back on, that's a joke. So I'm not doing that. There's 2,500 bits here, and God knows how many bits in the box. It's coming up. Oh, yes! Oh, look, that is 2 corners. There might be another corner somewhere. Oh, look, 3 corners. Oh, let's keep them somewhere very safe. So yeah, so the tablecloth, I think you've all calmed down about. Yeah, thank God. I have had an email from, just looking I had to write a couple of bits down because people have emailed me and stuff. So I mentioned the other day about my friend Mark and Karen who own a cafe, and you know Mark, he's got he has itchies behind his pinny. That one. Anyway, when they first started out, the cafe, I helped out, right? So Karen's message said, "Oh, Julia, it's uncanny this accent I'm doing because she's German, and you'll think I'm her." But Julia, please talk about the incident when you talked about the butter. So because they had friends and family helping them out. So I was one of the waitresses, and I thought, oh, boom, because I was I worked in a Chinese when I was I finished school. And so it gave me a good grounding, you know. I mean, not that everything was in numbers. In the Chinese, it was, I can still remember now, 27 deep fried crab claws, 107 special fried rice. Bloody love Mr. and Mrs. Chan. But I went off koi carp in a big way because I had a great big koi carp in a fish tank. And we used to stare at each other on quiet days. And I didn't like that. So I can't, although I'm just having a fish pond done, I can't have koi carp because they're big mouths and it always looks like they're saying help me, and I can't scoot them out of people's ponds. And I've got to have a cup of tea. Even thinking about that koi carp's made my mouth go dry. Anyway, sorry, so the koi carp. Anyway, so Karen, I was helping her out in the cafe, right, as a waitress. And this woman said to me, she said, my butter is too cold. And it came in those sort of gold sachets, you know, that butter comes in. It comes in the sachets and stuff. So I said, oh, right. I said, well, would you like me to warm it between my thighs? I mean, I obviously laughed. Karen and Mark laughed. Can't remember necessarily whether the woman laughed. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, careful, Jew. Needless to say, I'm not a waitress anymore. But it was quite a good story. And, I mean, I will get it translated into German because Karen's German and stuff. And I should get subtitles for this. Apparently you can add them on YouTube, but that is a little bit step too far so far. Apparently my pronunciation of hoche really upset Fred, and he said that he put something on the last video because it made him feel nauseous. Because I said, but Fred, do you know what, babe? I said, I can't help if I speak Mexican. I speak all these languages so naturally. I said, if I speak Mexican like that, babe, it's because it's the only way you'll understand his name. And I can't help if I sound indigenous. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I went from German there. I went straight into hoche. But Fred said, because he kept saying to me, what is this noise? There's a really weird noise on this audio. Look at it. Look at the spiking. And he said, I don't know what it is. It's like some weird interference. But it was me speaking. It was me doing Spanish. So he's going to have to get used to that, isn't he? Because, well, everybody's going to want to learn a bit of a language as we go. I was thinking that. It's like having Duolingo, but Duolingo. J-U-Olingo. See what I did there? I'm a bit puntastic today. I don't mean to be. So yeah, I am indigenous to many. So, talking about Mexico actually has reminded me. We went out a few years ago to Mexico, and that's where in fact we met Jorge. He's one of our stage managers with us on the team in Mexico, and fell in love with the place. Fell in love with the place. If you can go there, oh my God, please do. People are lovely. Everything's just gorgeous. Anyway, went out there and we were working, and then I essentially was, apart from falling in love with all the people, I also fell in love with Mexican wrestling. Never been. And they took me out. There was a big group of us, and it was £5 to get in. Now, you can't do anything. I mean, I don't think even you can buy a pack of curly whirlies for £5 now, but it was £5 to get in, right? So I shouted to everybody. I said, all right, I'll get this. It's on me. So I got everybody's entrance fee because, honest to God, £5. Anyway, so we went in and it was like a big old, it's like a barn. Very dingy lighting, it was like a movie, couple of flickering fluorescent bulbs, heaving with people. It was almost like steam were coming off people. And there were two entrances. It said poor people and rich people. And we were deemed the rich people because we paid a £5. And the poor people went in another entrance, right? And the noise was unbelievable. I mean, I'm noisy, but imagine, right? So we went in, and there were all these people behind cages. We went to our seats and stuff, and do you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to work out what bloody time I started. Let's think I'll start there then. Okay. Anyway, so we went to our seats, and these people are starting to chant. And all these people behind cages, like literally up against each other, hundreds of people, and they're pointing and shouting and chanting like a football match, saying, in Mexican this is, and they were shouting, your dad hires my mum and she sleeps with your mum. And we were shouting, well, I wasn't obviously, but in Mexican they were shouting back, your dad's a bus driver and we get him to have sex with our pigs. I mean, what they were saying to each other was, it was being translated to me. I mean, obviously then I didn't know Mexican like I do now. And, but so it was translated to me. So, and all these guys were standing up in the poor bit, grabbing their groins and like thrusting them, like, take that, have a bit of that, in Mexican. It was the most, but it was such good. Everybody was doing it in real, like with laughing their heads off. It wasn't aggressive at all. It was just so cocking funny. My cheeks were aching. We were laughing so much because I've never experienced anything like it, right? And then there was this really hilarious, the lighting was so bad, and sitting on the other side, this little mariachi, I absolutely love mariachi bands with a passion. And it was probably born out of this really, but there were about 4 of them sitting, just with these little hats on. And every now and again they just suddenly pipe up. In between rounds they'd do it. But they go, really sort of, it was, they sounded exhausted, mariachi. They sounded absolutely done with it. It's like they've been there for years. And it wasn't even touristy, this one. This was like a local one, which made it even more funny. Anyway, so everybody had like these beers. They had beers like the size of buckets. Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to go around here. I'm just going away from the mic again a bit. Pete, I'll try not to knock the camera and the mic. I know you get a bit twitchy about that, and I get notes about that. I get told, mind your mic, mind your camera. There we go. Look at that. That's pleasing, isn't it? It's the last little bit of this bit. Anyway, so where was I? So everybody had beers like buckets, okay, and and over here we have pork scratchings, and they're about £1, and they're tiny in a tiny bag. Sorry, it's making me so animated. It's making me thirsty. So if over there for a pork scratching, and this is not lying because Jorge and the other Mexicans, Davide and Rodrigo, can verify this. It was a big sheet of pig's back, right? So it was crackling, but it was a huge piece of pig's back. Vegetarians, don't get upset. It's just the way it is. And anyway, so when my mate said, "Oh, I'll have some pork crackling, please," they break it off with their knee. So you have this massive shard, a huge shard. It was. So we're all standing there. I've got fizzy pop on because I don't drink. But they've all got massive beers on, and here in the other hand, they've got like an entire piece of pig's back. God, it was funny. Anyway, the first round, ding ding, first round, and these sort of women walk around with the boards who look like, I don't know. It's like me walking around with a board. Do you know what I mean? It's not those young, beautiful, sexy, foxy things going around with the boards. It was like me wedged into some massively inappropriately tight leotard and being told to walk around on a Tuesday night. Do you know what I mean? But they just about, well, they couldn't smile. Anyway, they went round, ding ding, round 1. Now, round 1 blew my mind. And so the first thing that happened was this person of restricted height came out. Now, this isn't me doing the title. This isn't me making fun of anyone. This is what happened. This is a fact. A small person dressed as a chicken came out, right? A bright yellow chicken, and clucked his way around the ring. The crowd went absolutely, totally mental. Like you've never heard anything like screaming, grabbing groins. Right, before I carry on with this, I'm going to do this. Hang on. Oh, a bit went on to that. Hold on. Oh, look. Here we go. Bethany, you are just in time. I have just cracked open the other side. Oh, you brought Betsy the dog.
Sure.
Come and help.
Yeah.
Perfect. So anyway, so we were in this. Oh, now I'm going to need that. Right. So mind the bitumen, mind that bucket, mind the old bag. So from here, base. Right. It's a new. This is another 2,500 bits. Right.
Okay.
And the bit's going to here.
Oh look, found an edge bit already.
Oh my God, Darren will laugh his head off. He said to me, get Betty back because she could find all the edge bits. Okay, so I'm just talking about this plate when I was out in Mexico, right there. So the dwarf comes out dressed as a chicken. Then followed by that are 2 lesbians. And I'm not saying this again, I couldn't give a tinker's cuss what anybody does or what they were. But the type, like this is like a joke. Like a joke. Anyway, so out comes the 2 terrifyingly clad women. And they pick up this dwarf, this person of small height, and start throwing him round. Like literally, like a dart. They threw him
out the way.
Yeah, move the casserole dish over there. Don't drop it because that would be too. Don't even tempt. Imagine. Anyway, so they started throwing this person around like pew pew pew. The place went mental and they were wrestling and they were on the ropes and all of that. Oh,
is it alright?
Absolutely.
It's just doing dangling.
Is it wobbling? Well, yeah, you mustn't touch the. You've got to try and avoid wobbling the table.
I'm trying not. No, I accidentally just.
Yeah, brilliant.
Knocked
I
my
didn't
right
mean
stand.
to. Betty's catchphrase. I didn't mean to.
It
Anyway, so it was the best time of my life, and my cheeks ached, and at the end, I mean, there were so many rounds. All these different people came. Oh, so many different rounds. It was just absolutely. We all ached laughing. Straight out was I bought masks. I bought. Oh my god, we could have finished this in a week if you'd been in it. I bought the masks. I bought terrible t-shirts for the kids, which were at the time they looked brilliant, and I thought. I became absolutely rabid out the front there and started buying all the Anyway, bought that, and then I waited, and I have got a picture of me with the guy dressed as a chicken. It was the best night. If you ever get to Mexico, which I do hope you do, I hope you never ever miss wrestling. Try and go to one that isn't totally touristy, because this was in the back of nowhere, and it was just. Oh. Do you know what? I will remember that for as long as I live. It might be the last thing I think of. No, obviously my children first.
Yeah,
so
your children are the most
I'll remember that
thing.
before. Yeah, if I'm on my last knockins, hopefully I won't be remembering the
another
chicken
red picture.
I've gone off you. I like the tea. I like the tea.
But you got off it as a daughter.
As a daughter, I've gone off you because it's proven that actually you can smash this. But I will be. So talking of the Mexican thing, I will be going up into our loft of doom. Because I'm going to fish out my Mexican sombrero.
Things just go in there, don't they?
Yeah, so the Mexican sombrero. So when we were out there, it was their National Day, and in the supermarket they were selling this enormous sombrero. It was £2. Right, £2. What can you buy for £2? You can actually. I'm gonna have to speak to you. Anyway, so I bought this huge sombrero because it was just comedy gold. And when we went to work the next day, I had that on in the car. Now, that wasn't because I was there trying to take the mickey out of Mexicans. This was on sale. And at the traffic lights, when we pulled up, they were selling moustaches. So I went down the window of the minibus, and one of our mates bought everybody a moustache. Huge Mexican, hilarious comedy moustache. And we naturally, immediately put them on the way to work. And as we pulled up to the next traffic lights, we were laughing our heads off, saying, look at us, ha, ha, ha. And then we turned to our left, and there was a big coach of Mexicans with moustaches who, well, I mean, even the Mexicans in our bus, we were laughing, but then we just looked at them and they weren't laughing. So unfortunately, we caught every traffic light with them on the way to. Every time we pulled up and looked to our left, there were these Mexicans looking at us, and we took them off very gradually. Just sort of put our hands to our faces and just pulled them back down again. It was funny, but I don't really think we'd take out there being sort of, stereotyping. Right, I'm going to punch you in the face now. And. It was just what they were selling.
Another one? Oh no, that's not another one.
Yeah, well, don't start cheating. So I will get my giant sombrero out because I'll try and bring it. And because when I was out there, I mean, I don't like shopping. I do food shopping, but I don't.
Ideal heaven shopping.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Not.
But you love shopping.
I love internet shopping. I like it arriving. Anyway. So, but when there's a gift shop. I am in heaven, Beth. You're correct.
Another red.
Right, well, what I might do is just give you the jigsaw bit, and I'll just chat.
Okay. Why don't you do that then? Why don't you just sit and chat, and I'll just
do that. So anyway, we went to a place called Slakipaki, I think it is. It's really beautiful. It's a gorgeous place to go. Anyway, it is like gift shop heaven for those buffoons of tourists like I am. I bought so much embroidery. I actually believed that there were people in the village sewing all of this. Turns out, no. But it didn't matter. I bought Matt's parents some embroidery. Massive, wall hangings of it. Huge. I bought us one. I bought my mum one. I bought anybody that I could consciously even think of. I bought them a bit of embroidery, right? Bought that. I bought plates with cacti on. I actually believed... They were all laughing at me. But I really did believe that the person pretending to paint the plate was actually doing painting a plate. And they went, well, how come you've bought a glazed set? Because she certainly wasn't glazing and firing. She was just sort of going, here's my brush, here's a cactus. Anyway, I still love them. Anyway, it just means that I had so much luggage, right? So we had a big party and the night before we left. And we had a huge party. And I had to pack that night. So we went to the party till silly o'clock, and then I quickly had to pack. But I had so much stuff that I nearly cried trying to shut the lid of my suitcase. It was so horrific. Anyway, managed to do it. Got to the airport. It was about 4 in the morning, and it was for the Pan American Games. So all the athletes were leaving the same day as us, and it was absolutely heaving there. And I had to, because I couldn't carry my sombrero, I had to wear it. So when we got to the airport, I arrived with this burgeoning suitcases and a huge sombrero on, but I couldn't do anything else. And then they were doing random checks, and this guy said, "Open your suitcase," and I went, "No, please no." And he went, "Open your suitcase," and I had to, before you can check in, he made me open my suitcase, which was like spring loaded, and everything just came out, and it just looked so dodgy because everything was bubble wrapped, and it just looked like I was just importing or exporting just a phenomenal amount of dodgy business. Anyway, that was stuff for my tea. Hang on. She's got another bit.
That's not an edge bit, is it?
Yes, it is. You've got another bloody edge bit. Anyway, so...
I'll get my face a bit, am I?
You better not get your face in it.
No, I'm not, am I? When I put
no,
it
just your
over
hands. No, just your hands. Look, see. Good.
How can you see?
And anyway, so got to the... I had to do it up again. And we were just like crying up. Sam was helping me shut it. It was just a nightmare. And we got to the check-in desk and he said... But again with my sombrero, and he said, "Right, where's your exit form?" And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." So when you arrived, there was a little bit of paper to arrive, and he said your landing card, and with it there was a bit for you to get out. And I went, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I was just, this was just an absolute nightmare, right? Anyway, so I said, "I don't have it," and he said, "Well, you need it." I said, "Well, I can't have it." I said, "Look, well," I said, "the only thing I've got to prove that I've actually been here for a while is this sombrero," and so he was so over it because it was 4 in the morning and he had so many people to get through the system that he just sort of said, F off. He basically just got me out of there because he couldn't bear it. And so basically my sombrero got me out. I mean, to this day, had I not had my sombrero and him being so exasperated with the whole situation, I think I'd still be there. I'd have had to fly the kids over, but I think basically it got me out of the country. Thank God. Anyway, so then the next bit is you go through security, don't you? So I had my giant sombrero and I put it in the scanner. And it got stuck, and my mate Jordan was the other side trying to wait for it the other side, but it wouldn't come out, so they had to turn the scanner off and the guy had to go in. It completely stuck the whole, oh, nightmare. Anyway, so when I got onto the plane, having just humiliated myself, sat in without, I had to carry it around the airport and stuff, and I got on the plane and I got on first, because I couldn't even stand the thought of getting on later and it hadn't gone the overhead lockers. So I got it in the overhead locker, and then everybody was trying to wedge their stuff in. And they couldn't fit their stuff in because of my giant sombrero. So I just sat there. And it's the first time I've done that, because normally I'd get up and help. I was so embarrassed that I thought I don't know where else to put it. I can't sit on my seat. It's bigger than me. Anyway, I will try and get that out of the loft because it is a spectacular form. And I know that Claire of Dressing Up fame will be very, very jealous of this whole situation. But it's definitely worth, if you get to go to Mexico, definitely go. And I can, if you need something to look local, you can borrow it. I won't even charge. I spoke to, who did I speak to today? I spoke to Mum. She's having fish fingers for lunch today. And then she's having fish fingers. And then she had fish fingers last night. I beg your pardon. She had fish fingers last night. And today she's going to have a toasted ham. Because I know that a few people have asked me about the lettuce in Mum's sandwich and did she enjoy it, and now they're just saying what is she having for lunch.
And we're cooking her dinner tonight.
And we're cooking her dinner, but we're going to cook her dinner. We're going to cook her dinner. Yes, so but what's happened to my mum is that she's gone full David Dickinson with the hair because she's been inside for so long. What's happened is her hair is so enormous now that she fills the screen on Zoom. And for all those Australians down there who don't actually know who David Dickinson is, well, you're going to have to look him up. Just type in Antiques David Dickinson. He's the colour of Nathan. He's like mahogany. He's like a mahogany colour. And he says, "Oh, he's a right Bobby Dazzler. Oh, look at that antique. It's a right Bobby Dazzler." Anyway, his hair is like my mum's, and ironically, like my mum's dog. So that works all round. They match. So you're meant to have a dog that looks like you. Well, my mum has. She sorted it. She smashed it. So she's all good. Before lockdown happened, I mean, she's on her own, my mum, right? So she couldn't go out, and she's got so many underlying health conditions that she just basically shouldn't go out ever. So she has to stay in. And so when this lockdown started, I said to her, "So, Mum, what do you need? What do you need?" Bearing in mind, most people were just sort of trying to get baked beans for their parents or bread or something really basic and flour and stuff, and people were just grabbing pasta off the shelves and ripping out the hands of other people. She went, "Actually, Ju, I need some Bonne Maman bitter Seville marmalade. Make sure it's the bitter Seville, not just the Seville. And I need some of those lovely Starbucks lattes. The ones in the fridge the iced coffee. That's it, iced coffees. So I said, all right. And I laughed my head off because, funnily enough, those aisles were completely full of both of those items. So I didn't have to worry much about it. So she's now off her face by 10 o'clock because we have to get those all the time. It's the only joy in her life now is actually opening the little fridge door and seeing those. She said, tell you what you can get me, Juice, some Cravendale. Get me Cravendale milk. It's filtered. Oh yeah, Cravendale, get it. It's filtered. I'll have that. Don't get me normal milk. Get me Cravendale. I don't know what she's talking about. And anyway, we have to get her that, and we get weird if we can't find Cravendale, even though we don't know what that means to us. So we bless her. Did you? Oh, I just saw a bit then, and it's gone. How annoying! You are honestly, Beth. This is Darren in Australia. Even holding a dog. You managed to do it single-handedly.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out if I can put her on here next to
I was laughing because while we were looking for my mum's, we've been looking for yeast everywhere, and I've decided I'm going to have to make my own. Don't even ask how I'm going to do that. The reason we need so much, we don't need so much yeast for this, but I don't know about you, but we are talking about sourdough starter more than most things now. Since Mike, you know, the one who was on the escalator with a briefcase, and he's an extra, and he's been, you know, the guy on the escalator, and then he was man with briefcase and stuff. Well, you are literally like Beth, you're wobbling with your enormous breast, you're wobbling the camera. Sorry everybody, Pete, don't freak out. Right, it's just Beth. I'm going to have to move it. Look, she's managed to...
Let's just stay there
She's managed to put a dog on the table. I don't know if this is helping or hindering.
It is helping.
What fun is she having there?
Oh, it's...
No, you brought a dog in.
Just leave her there, she'll be fine.
Oh, I think she's about to walk past the Jigsaw, which is sort of funny.
Can you imagine?
Actually, funny enough, I can imagine.
Do you want to put her in the camera so people can see her?
No, because you're going to wobble it. If she walks across, she walks across. Anyway, so sourdough become really big, and I blame. Well, it's happened over the last few years, hasn't it? Because and people who know me know my vehemence against sourdough with poached egg and avocado and chili flakes. There's a big issue. People talk about that as if they've always done it. They haven't. Avocado in the 70s basically meant the avocado bathroom suite, nothing more. But people talk about it now like they've had it for years. Anyway, I'm going to let that go because that's one of my beefs. The avocado is my beef. Also, it's funding the Mexican drug trade. I've watched Narcos, I understand it. So because Mike has talked about sourdough, Freddie now has got like sourdough starter envy, and he has been making his own starter. And we talk about it. Well, I don't. Matt and Freddie talk about sourdough starter. They treat it like a child. It's like having one of those Tamagotchi things. You feed it, you take some out, you put some in, you feed it again, and then like last night, Freddie fed it so well that it was. I woke up this morning and it bloody fizzed all over. It had fizzed everywhere, all over my kitchen counter. It exploded. Oh, you are just actually. If you ever clap like that again, like some girl
Is that
band.
an edge bit, even though it's got that?
What do you think?
No.
Right, can I just show you what he thought? She said, "Is that an edge bit?" Even though it's got that. Oh my God, fathers. Anyway, so sourdough. So there's so much talk about it in our house, and I blame Mike. I can only actually blame him. And levain, I didn't know the word, like I said the other day, I didn't know what the word furlough was, and I didn't know what levain was. Apparently levain is the other bit of starter that you don't use, and that's in another bowl for later. Oh, it's so confusing. I think I'm just going to keep buying Warburtons. I think it's going to be easier.
I do love Warburtons.
I love Warburtons, Beth.
Nan loves it as well.
Nan loves it, absolutely.
Found another edge bit, lucky me.
What's interesting is that Andrew and Nathan, I spoke to them the other day, and they have to wear special glasses now because they've watched so much, because they have the lights off so much at night, watching that everyone masturbate and have sex in the back of the windows. They can only go out now. They can't stand bright lights, so they have to wear special glasses, not just sunglasses, but special glasses to protect their eyes because they've just watched so much of it of an evening. And I don't want to give the impression they just watched that. They watch that, and then after that they get into bed, and then Nathan will watch an episode of Golden Girls. He's seen, there are only a few Golden Girls relatively in the world, and he's watched all of them, and he watches them. What do you say, Nathan? Watch with 38 years, something like that. You've been watching them anyway. So he watches one of those, and then it could be an Angela Lansbury Murder She Wrote chaser. That's their night. That's what they're doing in Sydney.
Doesn't he also watch The Only Way Is Essex as well?
Yeah, he used to watch Towie. I remember him saying, when he talked about Towie, he said, I need to go to the Sugar Hut. And I said, what's a Sugar Hut? And it's actually the Sugar Hut. But in Towie, they don't say, you're getting mad. Don't clap like that, because it's like Atomic Kitten when they've got really long nails and they can't clap properly. It's ridiculous.
Clap like that.
Lovely. Anyway, so that's what they're doing. And then, ironically, on the other side of the world, in Hove, is Matt, who watches Angela Lansbury in ball gowns singing. And I spoke to Matt yesterday, and so many Matts in our lives. And he was saying, I've got to read what he watched. I said, what did you do? He said, well, I woke up so early. And I said, well, what did you do? He said, I woke up at 5. I said, oh my God. And he watched, hang on, I've got to read it. Barbara Stanwyck in a 1947. It's called The Strange Love of Martha Ivers. I mean, right, if I was awake at 5 o'clock, I'd spend all my energy trying to get back to sleep. What I wouldn't think. I thought, I must go and watch that old black and white malarkey. Just wouldn't occur to me. I go back to sleep. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, he watched that. I think once lockdown happens, I think everyone's going to come into my shed, and it's going to be a giant therapy session. If we get everybody with all these hilarious stories in one room, I think it'd be quite therapeutic. Sorry, I was just concentrating then. When Nathan loves Angela Lansbury so much, I thought I saw a couple of edges. Angela Lansbury is such a hit with Nathan that when we were working with him many years ago, our mate Sam said, my friend's working with Angela Lansbury on Broadway. Just sort of casually mentioned it not to name drop, but just because he absolutely loved her. And he literally fell to the floor and started crying. In fact, he nearly smashed his teeth out. Those were his teeth at that point. But he nearly smashed his teeth out because she said, would you like me to arrange for you to meet her? And I've never seen a grown man cry with such determination and pleading and just like, Matt didn't even cry at our wedding. So if he'd reduced himself to that, it'd been amazing. But no. So that's the level of devotion that Nathan has to Anne Lansbury. So it is wonderful, but I just sometimes feel that I'm a bit dead inside because I've never actually felt like that about anything to that degree. But Svenny, who's down there with Matt, who's watching these relentless loops of black and white movies and nothing past 1957, he is starting to eBay again. And if he eBays, we eBay. He knows things about the markets that we don't. So if Svenny decides to eBay, we're doing it, right? Starting to photograph Monday. And when we went down there, he had this huge load of shelving. And I said, what are you doing there? He said, I'm eBaying. And then I noticed there was stuff from us on it. There's stuff from us on it. I was like, but we bought you that. And then he just went bright. Well, he didn't really. He didn't care. And then, he even sold, when we go and see them, we stop at the BP garage, the little petrol station. And we bought him a tin of shortbread and some flowers and stuff. And he's even selling the bloody tin from Marks and Spencer's. He'd sold it. So I'm not going to bother with presents again, I've decided. Because everything's clearly just going in one door and out the other. He goes, thank you so much, that's lovely. Right. But Liz, the good thing about him eBaying is that it means that Svenny's not working on the roof. Because he can't get off the roof down in Hove. He keeps tinkering with the guttering, painting bits and bobs, and we worry. We keep saying, get off the roof. Anyway, he is. But as a result, Liz, there is a baby Jesus because he's hurt his back. Not on the roof, but just generally. It's gone ping. So he spends a lot of time now lying on the floor in his lounge, apparently. So that works. And talking of Liz, that's Liz. That's her Merrill utility shoes. Right. It's not a great picture, Beth. We need to get something a bit better.
Can I just say
that's not an edge bit. No, that's erroneous. So basically, if you're in Brighton later, Liz has got her click and collect today from Asda down at the marina. So if you see a blue Dacia Duster with a woman with full hazmat suit, goggles, gloves, and these on, that's Liz. She's got her click and collect. And I wouldn't bother going near or trying to approach her because she won't acknowledge you. right? So she'll have you, and then when she comes back in, Liz and Laura have set up around their doorway some sort of sprinkler system of Dettol. So the hazmat suit and all the bags go through a Dettol sort of. It's all like a car wash. They just get totally sprayed by Dettol. Just to cover it. Look, Beth, we're doing really well. Beth, you've just done so many bloody end pieces. It's marvellous. But I think we're going to leave it there, Beth. We're going to leave it thinking that Nan's going to be watching an episode of Can't Pay, Take It Away.
Yep.
Right? And Matt, who's in Croydon, I'm going to get some pictures of you because people have asked me for the picture that lights up people's lives to be in their hallway. So I'm going to get a couple of those and send them off. Anyway, Beth and I are going to wave like that. She's not going to knock the mic or the camera. We love you. See you in episode 7. Bye.
Bye.